And we're live. Hey, everybody, it's Sunday Night Live with Tim and Nancy Danter, the Danter Banter, the crypto couple. We are excellently. Sounds
excitedly.
We're so excited. By a vowel, but we are over the moon here. I have to give kudos to the great white vapor, Ken. He came across David Cowan, our guest for this evening. And I happened to get it from Nancy, clicked on it, and I thought, this is really cool. I spent, what was it, David, an hour and a half with you Tuesday evening, and I didn't say a word. I was just in awe of what innovation David has brought to the table and brought to the industry. Not your keys, not your crypto, not your keys, not your coins. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is David Cowan. He is the inventor of ARKPLATE VAULT. He lives up in northern Ontario.
Not that northern.
Give or take. Yeah, we're not going to take him in case anyone goes. He has too much fanfare out in front of his
house.
You have to have crowd control.
Jeez.
And this David, you really. David does other things as well. He's along the lines for those followers of a Tim Perry. But that's another story. But David, thank you so much for taking the time. Your product is something that I valued enough that I contacted you and I talked to you, and you've got some great ideas. You're passionate about it, and you've really thought it through to make it simple to keep our investment safe. So without further ado, David, give us a quick little how do you do about who you are and then launch into it. I mean, this is David's show tonight because he's just going to go, and it's incredible. So buckle up, everybody. Here we go.
It's great to be here. Thank you very much, Tim and Nancy. I really appreciate you having me on here. And you guys are only a couple hours south, so hopefully we can get together at some point and have a drink on a patio. That'd be really awesome.
We would love that.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great to be able to talk to the community. And right from the beginning of me starting all this, I've been very open with name and where I am and who I am, and posting pictures on Twitter. If anybody's interested in checking out my Twitter, I have as my name tag there at @ARK_plate. You can pull me up there. So try to be involved with the community, try to give back. I'm trying to do weekly giveaways. So the entire crypto community in general, no matter what is your favorite token or coin, it's like everyone really is a family in this kind of atmosphere. So
totally,
it's great to be able to talk to you guys and kind of explain where this started for me. I'm 30 years old. I started ARKPLATE late last year and seriously got developing. To give you an idea, my first trademark and industrial design application were in December of 2020. So that's when the firm kind of start line was, and it was on and off before then. I really started to kind of think about security. And I've kind of made a couple posts about it, but security is, when it comes to physical security of your digital assets, it is this great divide in the entire industry where everyone talks about their favorite coin, which one's going to make them the most money, which one's their favorite. Let's talk about technology and utility and purpose and cool logos. And then we hit wallets and security of your digital assets, and there's this brick wall where we know that we have to keep our keys safe, not your keys, not your crypto. And as soon as you hit that wall, it becomes this mystery. Everything beyond that line is gone. So to try and make people think about this, to bring it to the forefront of their minds and say, this is something you need to think about. In my case, it's a physical product that is used to ensure that your crypto recovery phrases, words, mnemonic phrases, seed phrases, there's several different terms. I, in general, use the term asset recovery keys. And in most cases, for the average person, when you have a cryptocurrency wallet, for instance, a ledger product, a Trezor product, a wallet on your phone, such as Atomic or Trust, or the Sum wallet, XUMM, made by XRPL Labs, you're generally assigned a recovery key or recovery phrase that is used to access your wallet. In most cases, that is 12 or 24 words. There are a few different wallets that use a couple different formats, but it's the majority of the time, 99% of the time, when you create a crypto wallet, you are assigned 12 or 24 words. And these words are selected from a standard list of 2,048 words, known as the BIP 39 standard. These words are globally recognized. They are always the same set of 2,048 words. They will never change. They are published across the entire internet. So no matter where you are, you can search BIP 39 words and you can view this standardized set of words. They're always issued in alphabetical order. And each of the words has an equivalent number value. So as you go down the list, that word will always be in the same alphabetical order and then can be assigned a 4-digit number value, 0001 all the way to 2048, and they will always be the same. And my product uses that particular system to be able to convert your words into number equivalents and record them permanently onto a stainless steel surface. So ARKPLATE is the name of the company and the name of the brand. It's not necessarily a new idea. It's just a different way of thinking about it and approaching the product in a different way to what other manufacturers have in the past. So there are lots of other competitors out there who make great products, but my primary concern has been trying to lower the cost of that product down to a reasonable level where pretty much everybody can afford it, as most of these products can be pretty expensive compared to what some people have to invest in actual cryptocurrency, digital assets. So I can go through kind of where this started for me and why I started ARKPLATE. It was never a business idea. It was never my $1 million ticket out. It was never supposed to be what you're staring at on the screen right now. This all started when I got into digital assets in early 2020. It was January 5th is when I basically started putting in my real money to get into it. I'd messed around with Stellar back in 2019, so I wasn't necessarily new to it, but the firm date was January 5th, 2020 for me. That's when I really started. And I started to learn about it and invest my own money. And I had family and friends who wanted to also get into it, but didn't necessarily want to take the time or didn't have the energy to learn about digital assets. And so I kind of, took the helm and started learning for everybody. And when I got to a certain point and making a little bit from my investments, my family and friends wanted to essentially have me invest on their behalf. So I created accounts for them, set everything up. They deposited money into their own accounts. And essentially, I was the guy who just logged in and hit the buy button on their behalf with my decisions and my choice of what to invest in. And it's worked pretty well so far. And it kind of got to the point, I've made this post elsewhere as well, but people in general, when you've got accounts at 4-digit accounts, you don't think about security. At 5 digits, you start to think about security. At 6 digits, you want security. And at 7 digits, you need security. And in my case, I was managing a 5-digit account for family and friends, kind of a total combined value. And when it hit 6 digits, this is some serious money. I had to make sure my, mom and dad, my sister, my girlfriend, multiple friends, it is a lot of money to take care of. And when you're the last line of defense, the guy who is responsible for those 6 digits, it is of the utmost importance, not just because it's money, but because it's your family and your friends. You need to keep it safe. You've got an obligation to do your best. And so I started to look into products on the market that could be used to back up their recovery keys. And they exist and there are good products. The primary one would, if you're not going to look at ARKPLATE, my recommendation is to look at the crypto tag Zeus. It's a great product. I just did it a different way. And so I started to look at different products, and that was really my first this is my first choice if I'm going to do this. And the limitation and problem was that they cost $145 each. And so to tell my mom, go buy, in this case for us, $200 Canadian, give or take a few dollars, go spend $200. Dad, go spend $200. My girlfriend, go spend $200. it adds up very, very quickly when you're having, okay, if I want to keep your stuff safe, you guys now go have to buy me something that's worth $200, give it to me, and I'll get one chance to fill it out correctly. It's a lot of money to put into something that people don't necessarily see the value of. And so I started to try and find a way, is there a way I could do this less expensive just in my own home? Again, at this point, it wasn't even a business or any idea or shimmer of being a business. It was, how do I keep my family's keys safe?
Right.
So I went to Home Depot, I bought a bar of aluminum and cut raw blanks, just a sheet of aluminum, like thick stuff.
Yeah.
Got to that, I rounded the corners and started to use a set of letter punches to punch in numbers and making mistakes, making sure I grabbed the right letter, making sure it was the right way up. This was a screw up. I had to start over, just kind of messing around with it. Yeah, I
It's like
started
it's like the times before liquid paper.
Exactly. So, and same thing. Like, okay, that's really tough to read. So now I wanted to spray paint it black before I did that. And I used a knife and scored lines in to try and make sure I could keep all the letters aligned and pretty and fully legible. And even this one was it was supposed to be Beacon or something, but I accidentally hit O twice. So there's another screw up. So said, okay, there's got to be a better way than this to do it at home. And I just so happen to have a hobby laser engraver for leatherworking. And so I bought from a local business card supplier these aluminum business cards that have got black paint over the top. So I used my laser engraver, and this was a test of font size and clarity, and started engraving keys. But the problem is up until now, all of these products have been aluminum. They're not durable. If they go into any form of fire, they're going to melt, just like throwing a pop can in your campfire. It's going to melt. So not a fireproof option. It's really not permanent. It's better than paper, though. So I moved on in design and said, okay, maybe I could actually develop something, because realistically, this still isn't trustworthy for me. I can't rely on this for 6 digits. It is a stopgap to keep the keys safe until I figure out a permanent solution. And so I started designing some products. I had the luck of being in a school that has a drafting program that through high school, through grade 9 through 12, I took drafting every year. And of course, having graduated in 2008, technology was a part of the curriculum, and in particular, taking control of CAD software or 3D design software to design products, blueprints, architecture, that type of thing. And it was still kind of in there a little bit. I had to reteach myself with some software, but I picked up a CAD program, started messing around, and eventually, after taking a fair amount of time, I designed my first couple prototypes. In this case, the original brand name was called Berry Wallet, and these are a couple of the original prototypes of it.
Amazing.
And so these guys here, what this actually is based on previous sizes. I wanted to kind of keep it the size of a credit card. So credit card sized,
Perfect.
2 of them. So in this case, it was half, and this one is a universal 12 or 24. It's the same on both sides, identical engraving. And so you could put 12 of your words on one side, the remaining 13 through 24 words on the other side, label it. And so a couple different finishes, sandblasted versus a kind of more of a, dishwasher, stainless steel fridge kind of finish on it, brushed.
Yep.
And so nice finish on it. So that was the first kind of major design that I prototyped. I've been through thousands and thousands of hours over the past year, probably 8 hours a day, literally every day. I would come home from work at 5, sleep for a few hours, get up. I would then work until 5 in the morning, get a couple hours sleep, go back to my regular job. Thousands of hours, hundreds of design revisions every single time. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. And just these little things, this font could be changed, this dot should be moved, and moving along. And I've created dozens of prototypes and eventually moved on to, I'll just do one of them, but it's got the same idea. One is kind of more of the satin finish and one is the mirror finish, but trying to change the size formats into hang on one second here, just a little bit more of a size change. And
I love it.
The layout. So in this case, the logo is upright, but the text and the entering of the numbers is actually horizontal to try and make it a little easier to hold rather than a square. So moving along, messing around with different thicknesses of products to make sure that they don't warp when they're struck. Even the original 2 we just looked at, you can see that the satin one is thicker than the mirror one there. So different material thicknesses. In this case, these are all stainless steel as well, much more durable than aluminum, and I'll go into that in a moment here. And eventually, after many other prototypes, I settled on a design that I liked, and also the company name ARKPLATE. I'm going to cover this because this was an old wallet. It's burnt now, but I got into a much smaller size format. This one's got a much more mirror finish on it, but
Yeah.
it's tiny.
Yeah.
Sweet and simple, tiny.
Amazing.
Easy to hold. This one, again, this is an example of prototype in development. It was too thin. When I stamped in with the center punch, it actually warped it. So this was like within 5 minutes of getting the prototypes in for manufacturing, the entire design was scrapped, and I was already back on my CAD program. Done. So, you know, even going into things like this, my ARKPLATE Micro, this is still my favorite one I've ever designed. It's the size of your thumb.
Good Lord.
It's tiny. This is the world's smallest 12-word recovery key. It's tiny. So
it's amazing.
It's really cool. And this is a future thing I'm gonna actually continue developing the micro series. As you know, it's literally it's invisible. It's just gone.
Yeah.
So
does it come with a magnifying glass?
Yeah, right.
I'm like,
what the hell is that?
It's crazy, you know. And this is all like all the prototypes you've seen thus far are all Chinese manufacturer. I deal with China. I work with a great factory. The people that I'm working with are really amazing. They bend over backwards. They're some of the kindest people I know that I've ever met in any business. And the technological capabilities that China has really is amazing. They have $1 million machines to make these. These are all laser cut, laser engraved. It is perfect. And even down to having text that is literally down to a couple hairs thickness and 1 millimeter tall. It is perfectly legible. I've got normal vision, and I can hold it here and I can read words and numbers that are 1 millimeter high.
That's amazing.
It's perfectly legible, perfectly clear, and like it's just every time I get a new prototype from them, the quality of it blows me away.
Wow.
So as for what we're at right now, those you've kind of seen where it was, and these are really where ARKPLATE is today. And these are what you've got in that image you were showing to the public there.
Yeah.
In this case, I've got two models currently at the moment. There's the Vault model and the Sum model. The Vault is your standard universal 12 or 24 word backup system. The Sum model is specifically meant for the Sum wallet developed by Wietse Wind as well as the XRPL Labs team out of the Netherlands. And they use a different format than the 12 or 24. And you can see it's actually 8 groupings of 6 rows rather than 12 groupings of 4. I'll get into that too later on. But this is what I'm actually developing. The Sum wallet is identical on both sides. It's just the same thing. So I'll put that away. The Vault model is dual-sided. It has got on the rear side numbers 13 through 24. And then on the front side, obviously, it is 1 through 12 down there on the bottom.
So David, does both the Sum wallet and that the one that you're holding, the two, do they use BIP39 as the words?
The Vault is the BIP39 system with the one with the 4 rows of dots.
Right.
The Sum wallet has a different way of creating and generating keys that Wietse actually developed specifically for his platform. And that is 8 groups of 6 numbers. And so all it is numbers. There's no conversions to deal with. It's actually a very good system. I like it. And in particular, his system offers a little bit better protection than a standard 12-word wallet. And if you're going into encryption, I kind of talked to you earlier, we could do a whole separate thing about encryption and security standards. But in a nutshell, because a lot of people don't ever think about security, nobody really knows what 128 and 256-bit encryption actually mean. But for all intents and purposes, a 12-word wallet is equivalent to 128-bit encryption, and a 24-word wallet is equivalent to about 256-bit encryption.
Wow.
Wietse's number system is actually closer to 170-bit encryption, so it's kind of a little bit better than the basic, but not quite as high as a 24-word wallet. So again, that's a whole other hour-long conversation we go into another day if you want to. But Yeah, so the Vault handles BIP39 systems. So again, this is compatible with any of your major platforms, whether you've got a ledger that uses 12 or 24 words, whether it's Trezor with 12 words, Atomic, Trust, Bread Wallet, most of the other kind of phone app wallets all use 12 words. So in this case, you can use the Vault model to record one wallet, say your Trezor wallet on one side, flip it over, and then record your Atomic wallet on the other. And I've
Amazing.
also put in these little Easter egg, not really Easter eggs, but little features like at the top of the ARKPLATE, there is right under the Vault logo. Come on, focus.
Yeah.
There is the legend, which actually shows you your numbers 1 through 0 there in the little dots. Of course,
Wow.
it's not in focus right now.
That's
and so
okay.
anyway, these little legend dots actually can be used to label wallets. So you can actually take the punch, and again, I'll show you that in a moment, and label the first side, the face of one, wallet 1. And then on the rear side, it has another legend you can tap 2. So you can know that wallet 1 is my ledger, and wallet 2 is my Atomic, wallet 3 is my Trezor, wallet 4 is my Trust, kind of deal. So you can actually go through and label each side of your ARKPLATE, or just on one side in the case of ledger with 24 words. The entire ARKPLATE would be designated 1 as your ledger. And then
Amazing.
2 is Trezor, flip it over, 3 is Atomic. And so you can, in the span of that, label all of your wallets and keep track so you know which set of words is for which particular wallet you're looking at. And so what does it look like when it's done? This is a fake, so don't bother trying to copy it or type it in, people in the video. This is a fake completed wallet, and this is what your ARKPLATE actually looks like when you have completed it.
Okay.
So the way that this works is, like we were talking about earlier, the BIP 39 words. So you get, when you create your wallet, your 12 words, and they say word 1 is sample, word 2 is example, whatever, 3, 4, 5. You take your words and you fill in on the included instructions. I've got on one side some charts, one side is the actual instructions. And so on this side, what side is this? We're going to go this one here. So word number 1 here, you would write the word sample because that's your first word. And the word number 2 is example. And after you fill in all of the words for your 12 or 24 word wallet,
Yeah.
you then use the included, I just call it the BIP 39 codebook. And it is just a list of your words with matching numbers right next to it in alphabetical order. So you find the word that you're looking for, and all you do is match your word to the number that you've got here.
Huh.
Amazing.
And to give you an idea of what it looks like, this is the actual example of it here. So
Yep.
sample is word 1529 and will forever be for eternity number 1529. And taking a look at the dots here, we've got 4 rows of 10 dots. The top row is the first digit, second row is the second digit, third is third, fourth is fourth. And all we do is just have right there along the top, we got 1529, and dot number 1, 5, 2, and 9 are filled in. After
Wonderful.
you've got your entire chart on the back, you've got a paper template, you fill in all your dots with your pencil or your pen so that everything is pre-labeled. You stick your ARKPLATE right next to it. And all you do is use your Sharpie like I have on the first example here, number 1529. Just take the superfine Sharpie, mark it on your ARKPLATE, take the included center punch and a hammer, tap all of the black dots that you've copied onto your ARKPLATE from the template. You wind up with this, a permanent
Amazing.
record of your keys. Sweet, simple, easy, straightforward. And again, you've got a built-in legend, so you never forget which dot means which number.
Amazing.
So you mentioned, or did you? I know you mentioned in our conversation sort of the flashpoint with heat, and because of the material and composition of your material, what you can do with it compared to perhaps the other materials you had explored, you know.
So when it comes down to that, this is made of 316 stainless steel, and that is considered marine grade stainless steel. Of course, standard steel can rust just like iron, but stainless steel has got additives, generally chromium, molybdenum. There's a couple different elements in them that prevents any kind of corrosion, rust, tarnish, and it does a very, very good job of resisting those elements to make sure that it stays safe. So when it comes down to long-term storage and security, there's a few benefits that ARKPLATE offers compared to other means of storing your keys. Um, Most people record their keys on paper. There's the secondary option of keeping, say, a spreadsheet or a Word file on your computer where you type them in. On your cell phone, same kind of deal. And then taking an attempt at stepping up your security, there's saving those files onto a flash drive or onto a little SD card, camera card. And so the main benefit of having it on ARKPLATE more than anything is the permanence of the media that you've recorded it on. Paper can get destroyed by water. It can be destroyed in a house fire. You can accidentally throw it away along with another bundle of papers that's in your desk drawer if you're not taking care of it. Even if you put it in your safe that you've got, in your basement or your bedroom closet, in the event of a house fire, normally any kind of paper good inside of that safe is going to burn after half an hour. Most safes are only rated to survive half an hour of fire before the contents are destroyed. So 316 stainless steel is completely fireproof up to 1371 degrees Celsius. To give you an idea, the average house fire, depending on the portion of the house where it's measured, reaches between 500 and 1100 degrees Celsius maximum. So the first thing is, of course, fireproof. It doesn't matter where you have this in the house, in the attic, in the basement, it will survive any temperature that the average house fire will ever reach without being warped. It will not melt. It will not tarnish. It will not become illegible, which is the main thing. When it comes to water damage, same thing with technology. Your basement floods with your computer gets fried, you dunk your phone in your toilet with your keys saved on it and your wallet's in use. Water is a big problem when it comes to any kind of technology. And technology also has the other crux of corruption. I currently work in the computer industry, computer hardware and software. It is surprising how often USB sticks and SD cards become corrupt just because they are not removed correctly or disconnected or ejected properly in software. So something that most people never even consider, even when they're trying to take a further step of securing their keys by saving them on a flash drive or stick. They become corrupt. They are not fireproof. They are not waterproof. They're not permanent. It's just kind of one step ahead of paper. Hack proof is another thing. This is, of course, it's offline. It's a hunk of steel. You can hide it in your shoe, in your basement. You can literally take this and stick it right into your flower garden and bury it. And then 10 years from now, pull it out. And after a little bit of scrubbing the mud off, it's going to look the same. This can be destroyed. Of course, if you put this in a blast furnace or a forge and try to play blacksmith with it, you can destroy it. But most people are not going to purposefully try and destroy their keys. But when it comes to what most people would experience or run into in their daily life, an accidental house fire, an accidental flood, throwing things out accidentally in a pile of papers. You're not going to accidentally throw this out if you get it. You know what it is, you know what its purpose is for, you know how important this is, and you have to make a pretty big error, just have a wicked brain fart to take this and purposefully throw it away or purposefully destroy it. Versus paper, an SD card, a USB stick, any of those can just be accidentally thrown, accidentally destroyed. This really takes your keys and makes them permanent, and it gives you something tangible that you can hold and move. Another big part of digital assets, or at least it will be down the road, is being able to hand off something in a will to a loved one when you pass away. They're not necessarily going to know to look for a sheet of paper with 12 random words on it that's sitting in your desk drawer. That's going to be another part of the junk that they're going to want to get rid of because they're not feeling great now with your passing. This is the type of thing that you can leave behind dedicated in a will, leave it in your safe deposit box at your bank, or again, just writing in your will saying, hey, this is the thing you're looking for in my possessions when you're digging through my house. It is a tangible way of handing off your assets to somebody else when you pass. It keeps you absolutely secure and safe by pretty much the best means possible when it comes to how durable it is. It's a dedicated product. It's not an afterthought. When you touch it, you know what it is. So there's a whole bunch of these little things that most people don't really think about. And again, I think one of the bigger things is also going to be willing it to somebody. That is going to become a big part of this. We've got people who even just lose their keys today with hundreds of millions of dollars that they forgot about, and they just threw away their old computer because they had it stored in a Word file on their hard drive. And they will literally hire crews to dig through waste yards looking for this old gray computer is what it looks like. It's worth $500 million. I'll give you 10 million if you find it, kind of deal. So it's physical security for a digital world. That's what it is. The best way to look at it. So.
I love this. I love this. And I just want to take a moment and pause to see if, because our community is so active, does anybody have any questions for David so far that he could clarify before we go into another subject at all? I know that, I saw either Len or Joey's here from the Canadian Bitcoiners, if they're still here. And he is always saying, not your keys, not your crypto. So I'm curious to see what everybody thinks, and if they think this is cool, because I think this is spectacular. And if you have any questions, so feel free to drop some comments in the comment section.
And for those of you that have been just joining us a little bit later, Ken, thank you very much. This is David Cowan from ARKPLATE. I gave Ken kudos at the beginning of the show, but now that you've joined us, Ken, thank you, sir. You'll have to hit rewind to watch the beginning of it.
Oh, man.
So while we're waiting for that, there's some other things when it comes to keeping your keys safe. That's the big deal, and that's why I did it. It was again for my family. And like I first mentioned when we started, it's really this canyon or divide between you're handed those 12 words and digital asset security halts. Like, it's a brick wall. Nobody thinks beyond that. Nobody plans ahead. Nobody works past that point. They know it exists, but they think it's this fabled thing they're never going to be able to understand, or they just never bother to try and understand it. And realistically, it's very simple and very easy to make sure that you've got lifetime security for your keys. And again, there are other products like the crypto tag Zeus I mentioned earlier. They're great products. And really, when I looked at those, it wasn't just the cost of them being $145 that was detracting. It was the size of them. They're the size of a passport and a 1/4 inch thick. They're big, they're unwieldy, and they're not necessarily concealable. So when I designed this, I had a few goals in mind. Number one was cost. Number two was size. Number three was usability. Cost, to give you an idea, these guys retail for $30 Canadian, or about $24, $25 US, give or take. So they're very inexpensive. And as of right now, from what I can find, they're actually the least expensive option on the market without having any real compromise. Second is, of course, size. They're very tiny, like basically the size of your finger. They're thin without being too thin and having any kind of warping issues. They're just over 1/8 of an inch thick, or 3 millimeters is the actual thickness of them. So small, easy to hide. They weigh about 50 grams, 49.5 grams, give or take. So they're lightweight, easy to hide, easy to conceal, very inexpensive, all things considered. And usability was the only thing that I really had a lot of trouble with when it came to my earlier prototypes, and finding the right compromises. Nothing will ever be perfect. And so finding the compromises in the right spot just so happened to go in my favor when it came to weight, size, and cost. Of course, because I do have these manufactured in China, whatever I make, I have to ship literally to the opposite side of the planet. So shipping can get very expensive, and every gram counts when it came to manufacturing this. And also it matters to the end consumer, the final weight of the product. Of course, every time you double the weight, you double the cost to get it in somebody's hand. So trying to design these not only just to be as compact as humanly possible without losing any of the usability, as well as making sure that my final packaging that you customers would wind up with in your hand is as simple and easy and least amount of waste and weight humanly possible. I was originally developing packaging when I was working with China, where it was a fancy kind of fold open book style cardboard box with a special embossing on it. Can't really see it in there, but
That's okay.
there it is right there. And so foam inserts, and the product would fit in there with its punch, and it would be nicely packaged with a slip over thing. And this would add on 20% just in the manufacturing cost when it came down to final shipping just to get to me. Extra cost that nobody's going to care about this. They're just going to throw it away. Why am I spending time and money for something they are literally going to throw away within the first 10 seconds of having their hands on it? It's no point. I started even developing things like my own center punches for it. I don't think we even went over this in the last one, but things like a center punch, something as simple as the center punch that comes with it. I designed this. This is not an off the shelf thing. I made it to my exact specifications based on minimum requirements for weight, size, usability, and durability to meet it. I started out with things like the smallest center punch I could design. It's only a couple meters wide. And then moved on to slightly thicker, trying to be able to fit these because this is only a couple grams, 1.5 grams. So it's very, very easy to manufacture thousands of them and ship them at a low cost. You're going to use it once, and then you're never going to touch it again. So what is the point in it being this industrial design that needs to last 50,000 strikes in a metal shop where these are normally used? You don't need to pay for that. You don't need to have that product. So these were a bit unwieldy. They were too small to hold, even though they accomplished what I needed them to. So moving on to slightly larger designs with knurling on them to make sure that they're easy to grip.
Amazing.
And then finally on to what I settled on as the final design, which is quite a bit bigger. But again, it is a lot easier to hold, a lot easier to use. Things that most people would never think about in designing this product. Things like I've got a dual taper on it.
Yep.
And so the long taper versus the quick taper there at the end, which actually makes the mark. The long taper is there so that you can see past it into the hole that you need to mark.
Smart.
So it's not blocking the view of the user. It is to give you a proper view into the Sharpie mark. So these little, revisions, these are again only the prototypes. I probably have designed 20 different center punches alone to make sure that I could make this as cost effective as possible. Hardening and engineering specifications, Rockwell 40 hardness, which doesn't mean anything to most people. A knife is normally 60 hardness, but I wanted to make sure this was hard enough to mark the stainless steel. And these punches are now rated to 1,000 strikes or at least 10 complete 24-word wallets before the tip even starts to think about dulling. So one tip in your package can at least do, because I didn't want to do more than 1,000 strikes. So I know for sure they do 1,000 strikes, but 40 hardness is also not too brittle, so that any kind of risk of this shattering when a customer hits it with their hammer is reduced by reducing that hardness and brittleness down to something that is slightly softer and much less likely to shatter or hurt somebody in the process.
Wow.
So all these engineering principles of not just making sure it's small, light, it accomplishes the task, but now that it accomplishes the task, how can I ensure that nobody's going to get hurt, how there's no extra problems that are going to arise. Even things like having any kind of, I've got the coating on it to make sure it doesn't rust. And, like somebody can be allergic to iron oxide. So making sure it doesn't rust when you hold it. So there's tiny little details. Everything you see on camera, there's 100 things you haven't seen that nobody can even begin to conceptualize when it comes to design of this type of product. So it seems so simple at the end of the day. Like here's this hunk of metal. There you go. Just back up your keys. But like hundreds and hundreds of design revisions, afterthoughts, that every single little thing is kind of accumulated into this one thing. And I'm still keep on going. I've still got new designs in the work. I've still got plenty of other ideas that are going to keep going. And I'm actually going to take over the screen to kind of go on to showing you what to kind of look forward to and what I'm going to be working on in the near future. This one's a little bit out, but forward thinking when it comes to keeping your keys safe. To tell you to bury it in your garden, you may not want to do that. You may not have the funds to buy a safe deposit box at your bank. That can even be, I don't know, a couple $100 a year to keep one.
Yeah.
But hidden in plain sight is one of my favorite things. I was thinking about, how do I hide these things in your home? Should I get like the back of a tape measure, the little belt clip, and design a special belt clip that you can screw in under a desk drawer, and it clips the arc plate in so that nobody sees it, but all you do is reach under your desk drawer and slip your arc plate out, and that's a lot of stamps.
Now, David, if that was in the United States, that would clip right beside the gun.
Exactly. You know what's going on.
Right beside the gun.
It's just like, I thought, okay,
not
geez,
my
like,
keys, not your crypto, not your keys, not
exactly.
your crypto.
You just deal with the problem right at the source, right?
Yeah,
But it's those little things where,
right?
how can I help other people continue to think about this and move themselves in the right direction? And so that was kind of the one thing I was thinking about, some kind of clip system. I even thought about this. This was a storage box. This is it's an example of what we use. It's not my keys, so don't bother robbing my house. But so this is my prototype of just a little plastic clip open box that I might wind up producing, where you can store 8 arc plates in there, sweet and simple, easy to access, and you can keep that in your safe at home. You can throw this entire thing in your safe deposit box. It's really not that big.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a sweet and simple solution. This is when it comes to fires, the plastic is going to melt, and all the arc plates are going to survive the fire, but it's going to be a hell of a job to melt all the plastic away to get to your keys again. Right. So this is one of those things where this is probably best in the bank and probably not good if you're thinking fires. But organizational skills and all in one place, I can hold everything.
Could you bury that?
Yes, actually, this particular one is still a prototype, just with another brand on it. But things like, again, that nobody thinks about, this has a gasket in it to be able to keep it waterproof, but it's neoprene. And it is not IP rated when it comes to waterproofing. So you might see IP67 or IP68 for your phones to keep it safe if you drop it in a puddle or drop it in a pool. But trying to design, and that's one of the things I'm working on now, is designing a silicone gasket specifically for this product, which will give me perfect water rating to make sure that you can bury this up to 1 meter deep in the ground without it seeping in. And even if water does get in, all it would do is ruin the foam and it'll probably go moldy. But the plates will still be perfect after 10, 20 years. It's just the case is you're probably going to want to replace the foam.
That burying this stuff reminds me the end of the Shawshank Redemption movie, where they go looking for that,
Yeah, and that's it. Just leave like a little treasure map in your will. Yeah, here you go. It's this flower garden under that bird feeder.
Yeah. We never watered there anyway.
So I'll take over here. I'm gonna share screen and entire screen and allow. So now it's gonna
wait. Here we go. One second. You okay?
You can see the image folks up there.
Oh, hang on. This is so cool. I saw this. Oh.
So this is, like I said, I'm a real fan of the hidden in plain sight concept. If somebody goes into your home, now we're talking robberies, like we'll push fires and floods aside. But if we're talking about robberies, somebody knows you own crypto, they're coming to your house. Where are they going? They're going for your bedside drawer, your computer desk. They're going for whatever vault you've got in your home. They're going to be looking for places where they're assuming you're going to stash your valuables. And so if you make something undesirable or have it in plain sight that nobody is ever going to steal, like hiding an arc plate in a really expensive vase, chances are that somebody's going to steal that really expensive vase. But no one is going to steal a picture of your grandma. Think about that. Like when has anybody ever reported a photo of their grandma being stolen in a theft? So this is my conceptual design of a photo frame. And what it is it's a multi-tiered thing. I don't have the steps available to it, but this is an aluminum photo frame. That's whatever color you want it to be, black just in this case, and of course the layer of glass. And then under the layer of glass, you would have the photo, a standard, in this case, 5x7 photo, your industry standard photo, a backer board of some form, some kind of black cardboard or heavy, thick, like 1/8-inch thick kind of foam cardboard. And under that, you get this layer of, again, another form of heavy, thick foam cardboard, basically 1/8 of an inch thick. And I've got cutouts here to keep your arc plates in it. And so you've got your picture hiding it. You've got foam board to stop any of the arc plates pushing out the photo to reveal themselves, a central core where you can store your arc plates, and then another layer of foam would go over top on this side, your standard backing board with your little flip out leg to prop it up on your desk. And you can hide up to 5 arc plates in this case in a standard 5x7 photo frame. Now, again, thinking that for every 100 things, or for every one thing you do see, there's 100 things you don't see. And so in this case, I specifically said aluminum photo frame because aluminum is metal, and when people see metal, they perceive heavy. So any kind of added weight to this unit would be not as perceptible to somebody who touched it because it is made of metal. If it was a wood frame that was painted, people might notice, hey, this is a little heavy for being a wood framed photo. So weight balance, things like having 5 slots. I didn't design this because I want you to buy 5 arc plates. It's so that you can if you want. But weight distribution, if you own 1 arc plate, you put it in the middle. If you own 2, you put it in position 2 and 4. If you own 3, position 1, 3, and 5.
So smart.
1, 2, 4, 5, and then if you own 5 across, so that no matter which way you hold the photo, weight distribution of the arc plates within it does not give you this awkward feel. Like, why is one side of this photo heavier than the other? So it's these little tiny details to make this sit on your desk, the photo of grandma that no one is ever going to want to look at. No one's ever going to touch it or mess around with it. You can put it on the mantle and hide it amongst 5 other frames that you buy at the same time and either use or don't use. So they all look like this matching set. So things like this, trying to keep it secure in your own home, your own custody. It's safe from fire, it's safe from water, and this is a heck of a lot safer from theft because nobody cares about it. Nobody's going to look for it.
It's so smart, David. So smart.
So it's these little things where I'm trying every day to think of how to secure people's assets as if they were my own. If this was my family's money I'm playing with, how do I keep it safe? How do I keep it from getting stolen? It is like I've buried assets in the past. And it's a pain, like, oh crap, I did lose that wallet. Now I've got to go dig it up. And I do that at 10 o'clock at night and make sure my neighbor isn't watching me dig this random little hole in my backyard. So there's these things where it's just like, well, if it was easy to get to, but it was hard to steal, that's the perfect solution where you could access it in 20 seconds, but a thief is never going to ever want to access it. So that's
amazing, David. That's really, really amazing. So you started this pretty much January of this last year. How long did it take you until you were ready to get to the point of telling people you're ready to go with this?
You just launched it last week, right?
Yep. Last week on Friday was my launch. So, we're at whatever 9 odd days that it has been fully public. I started to make a couple hints of its existence and what it was kind of at the start of August, maybe I think July 27th was the first time I made a real post. And that was very much a teaser post to the Some Wallet community, that a feature exists that we'd say hid in the app, didn't tell anybody about, and he's in partnership with me. So I've known about this feature for months and nobody knows it exists. And with one QR code, you can get to it. And I'll explain that too if we've got time. But realistically, I wanted to keep this a complete secret for as long as humanly possible. I didn't want to give people 3 months to pre-order products, like trying to build up sales and build up revenue before I even had something in my hand. I wanted to make sure I had all of my inventory, all of my packaging, everything in front of me, ready to package. And I wanted to do test runs of shipping this to family members, seeing how long it takes, how did the packaging do, was there any problems, try the site. I even got my mom to buy a couple transactions on the site with little, okay, I'm going to put this up for 30 seconds, click the buy button now because I don't want anybody to click on it accidentally. And so realistically, it was 2 or 3 days beforehand, I announced that, hey, this is coming, this is going to exist as of Friday, and this is what it's actually going to be. And I've always done that. Wietse and I have been dealing with each other for basically this entire year as partners, and I've been developing his product since at least the Flare distribution snapshot that took place in December. So really, that's what drove me to make the Some Wallet, is that I need to figure out my keys for my ledgers and all of my other wallets. And oh, damn, now we've got the Flare snapshot. I now need to figure out some way of keeping my Sum keys safe while we wait 3 years for Flare to distribute the Spark token. So I thought, well, I'm designing this already. Why don't I see if Weedsay wants to make one for the Sum wallet, because nothing exists for that on the entire planet. So got in contact. He was right on board with it. So I'm working directly with him. And he was like right on it to develop that hidden feature. And that he said it was going to take him a month or two. He got back to me in literally 4 days, like, hey, I did it. Like, he was really excited about it. And it's nothing super special or fancy, but it allows you to manually generate your own keys with the Sum wallet. And I'm going to be putting out a couple more posts on that. But yeah, like it's been a great journey so far. And you know, I believe in it myself to manage my own money. So
that's amazing. And your family's money.
Yep, that's exactly it.
That's really, really cool. So I know that we have still got a few viewers left with us, but maybe what else? Because you have a very interesting story. You got what am I going to say?
I don't know.
That you started off in musical instruments, and not just computer but musical instruments. How did that help you with this? Because I feel like it would be from fine tuning stuff.
And it's
hey, Journey.
When it comes down to it, it is like I graduated high school in 2008. I decided not to go to university or college and instead got a house, which was, looking back, a very good decision right now. Mm-hmm. So I decided to get the house, started working at my family business here in Meaford. It's a computer and music store. And my dad's been doing computers since the 90s, back when dial-up modems were still a thing. So I've been working with him doing that, and I became really interested in music when I was 11, 12 years old, and guitar in particular. And when he decided to go retail with the computer business, he'd been working out of home since then. In 2006 or 7, we opened the retail store, and to supplement income in a small town, he decided not just to run the computer side of the business, but to add a music side. And so selling and repairing musical instruments, and again, focus on guitars, ukuleles, violins. I'm a classically trained violinist as well.
Wow.
And so I started to just sell them. And as I would get junker guitars in as trades, or get customers who needed basic restrings done and work, every time I get a new guitar, I would continue to further my skills and develop them. And now I'm a full luthier, which is the technical term for somebody who fixes, repairs, builds musical instruments, as well as a computer technician. And I've basically taken over the business. Dad is since retired. He got cataracts, didn't tell anybody, told us he was blind one day, stayed at home for 3 months because he couldn't see, and decided he was done working because it was nice having the time off. So he just kind of never came back to work. So I took over. It was kind of funny. But anyway, so when it comes down to the fine details, again, I do a lot of things, and I kind of joke with friends and family and girlfriend that my hobby is new hobbies. Every week or every month, it's something else. I took up leather working a couple years ago. I got again, it's finding a problem and then a solution to it. Wallets are crypto wallets are too expensive. They're too unwieldy. Physical wallets, like for your credit cards and stuff. I was tired of buying a new wallet every damn year because my wallet would tear apart because it was just cheap crap. So I took up leatherworking to make my own wallets. And
my gosh!
Like literally, I've had this now for whatever 2+ years, and it's perfect and just getting better with age. And it's thinner and lighter and easier than any other wallet I've ever had. It does everything I need it to. It holds all my ID.
How does it hold up to the hole punch?
Right? So it's like literally everything I do, it's like, this is annoying as hell. If you want something done right, do it yourself. And so that's what a lot of my journey has been. There's always some kind of problem, and just I'm gonna fix it,
out,
do
right?
it. That's it. Just do it right the first time and get it over with. And
but those are typically like the best types of inventions, is the stuff that if you can find a problem and solve for the problem. And Candace is saying it looks like new. Honestly, it really does. And so you're not just an innovator, you are a true problem solver. And those are the ones that will last. Those are the businesses that will last.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And it's literally been this reoccurring theme where if I find some kind of problem, I try my best to fix it and either keep it for myself, or I just kind of say, hey, you know, friends, like I've made many wallets for many other people just literally as a hobby. I don't even charge them for it. And
Yeah.
I'll go buy half a cow's worth of leather the size of the dining table back there, and I'll just make everybody a wallet and like just keeping my skills going. And like it's all of those also kind of develop into these weird like bucket list things. Leatherworking, it started out as the wallet, and I said, hey, you know, I could, if I really do this, I could probably make my own pair of leather dress shoes one day, get into cobbling. So every one of these skills kind of stacks together. High school doing the CAD and architecture and engineering, had I have gone to university or college, I probably would have wound up either doing mechanical or civil engineering or architecture, because I love that. I'll design houses for fun using the CAD program, just because like imagining the future dream house after I sell this place. So, you know, designed 100 different houses and literally throw the designs away when I'm done, like move on to something cool and new. And this is really the same kind of deal where even the Chinese company I deal with was even getting frustrated sometimes, because it's like, okay, this is my final design. I'm certain this is the prototype I want. Like, here's my money. And then like two hours later, like, oh, I want to change the size of that one dot. It's not right. There's something off about it. It's like, oh, fine. Okay. Like, this is the new final prototype, like revision 17 of this one model. Like, there you go. This is the one. And I kind of have to stand back. Like, I can't touch it anymore, because they're just not going to want to work with me anymore. So
no, that's amazing.
That's wonderful.
So okay. So if somebody wanted one, they go to your website, which we've just put up down below. Yep. And if they wanted to go there, approximately how long does it take for them to, by the time of ordering it to getting it, about, because you've said you've tested it, how long?
It really all depends. Right now I'm running through Canada Post, and of course the more you pay for shipping, the faster you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And again, part of this whole we'll call it experiment is to make sure you can get physical security for as little as humanly possible. So I do have the least expensive shipping options, which is, for most of the time, it's like $8 to $10 is kind of what I've seen. For the majority of orders, people are choosing the cheapest option, which is either local snail mail, or it is going to be international air. But again, the slowest method. So you're probably not going to have it. Like, let's just say you're in the States. Are you going to have it in a week? Maybe. I'm going to tell you to expect 2 weeks if you choose the cheapest option, just being honest. But if you choose the tracked option, at least through USPS, you can get your tracking. Through Canada, you can do that. Even international tracking, you can choose those options if you really want it right now, because you're going to burn your house down next week for insurance fraud. You know, like, there are ways you can get it.
That's only on the reserve.
Exactly, right?
Hey, oh my goodness, don't say things like that.
So anyway, so there's ways you can get it fairly fast. Now, I chose not to add things like UPS, FedEx, that right now, because I did experiment with multiple different methods of shipping, and the cost of it's ridiculous. I've got some friends I hang out with on chat. One guy's in Panama. He's moved to Abu Dhabi now, actually. One's in Washington, one's in Naples. So I had a few guys to say, hey, buy this. I will immediately PayPal you the money for whatever it costs, just so I can figure out shipping. The guy in Washington, it was like $56 US through UPS for the cheapest shipping to ship a $30 product.
Whoa.
So it was like, and I have designed this to be as efficient as possible. Like I said, everything, literally every single detail has been thought out. I had 20 different bags prototyped just to have it shipped to you. So this is a standard 4x6 shipping label I've blacked out the information on.
Yeah.
And it's a standard Mylar bag. You know, it's as small as I could get it to get it into the smallest class. It's mirror on the inside, so nobody can see what's in it.
Yeah.
When I send it to you, I heat seal the top edge, and it even has one of the quick tear corners on it there.
Oh, nice.
So it's heat sealed with quick tear open. It's Mylar. It's strong. It's as small as I can get it. It's only not even, in most cases, if you're only ordering one arc plate, it's generally 1 centimeter thick. So it falls into the smallest possible, just a little bit more than like regular letter mail costs and size. So it is literally as cheap as I can get it to you in as small a size of package as possible. It comes in one of these black Mylar bags. It comes with a heat shrinked Sharpie and center punch.
Nice.
Fits right. Literally, the bag was designed to accommodate the Sharpie and the punch. So for length, and then of course you're getting your arc plate inside of wrapping, and then if you order the Sum model, you're also getting a 10-sided dice, which I'm going to be talking about, later on. We could even do that another day. That's a whole other thing.
Yep.
But to get it there, one arc plate with dice, center punch, Sharpie, instructions, and BIP code BIP 39 code book is exactly 100 grams.
Wow.
So I've to the gram, this entire package has been thought out to make sure I can get it all the way across the world. I had a guy who paid 12 or 13 Canadian to get it from Canada to New Zealand. Like $13 again, that's pretty damn far. It's basically the other side of the planet for $13. Is it going to be fast? Probably not. But if you want to choose the $20 or the 30 or whatever you have in the Canada Post, I checked the box that allows me to choose any Canada Post service available. So I'm not saying you can only use these 3. There's like 18 options. Whatever your budget is and however fast you want to get it, you can make that choice.
Wow.
Very cool.
This is amazing, David. Really and truly, you can tell you've put a ton of thought into this. And I think that's what makes the difference between your product and everybody else's. So we really super, super appreciate your time tonight. And we're actually hoping you'll come on to a crypto night in Canada and banter back and forth with us.
100%. I'd love to. Like I was talking to Tim the other day about my own portfolio and introduced a few new ones to him for you guys to check out there.
Yeah.
And so, it's one of those things where it's always good to have these other opinions. And I've my favorite personally, just on a quick one for anybody looking into it, is Quant, QNT. That's what I really like right now. It's definitely worth a look into, but every kind of opinion you can get from somebody else really kind of gives you a lot of the crypto industry is biased.
Yeah.
And I believe that there's going to be a lot of winners, but there's going to be a hell of a lot more losers out there. And so being able to kind of have other perspectives where you might really like this one thing and you're kind of choosing to ignore the 10 other people who say, hey, that's probably a loser. Like, it's that kind of opinion where you should be able to gather and make an informed decision and choice. So I'd love to get on and banter and go through everybody's portfolio and list and just have kind of like, if you like that one, why don't you look at this one? And like Cargo X CXO I mentioned.
Yeah, no,
day,
that's
one. Like they've got
like
patents on
like
bills of lading. There's ship chain or ship coin, which has nothing. It's supposed to be a shipping service, no patents or anything unique about it. And then you've got another coin that has patents, is actually working with the WEF. There's all these different things where you just may not know about it, and it's good to have those secondary opinions.
It is, and some of them, we both have. I think we both hold the XRP, and there's some common ones we have. But I was writing yours down and going, I've never heard of these ones. And then I go and look at them and I go, whoa, that's quite a concept. And then I floated 2 of them by, I floated 2 of them by Tim Perry, and he goes, yeah, those are really good coins, or really good products.
Yeah, and I know that Ken, who's been diligently watching this with us tonight, he's usually on our Wednesday night stream. I know he would love to ask you and talk about crypto. I know
Ken, he does not have any sheep.
He doesn't have any sheep.
Right off the bat, cut you off.
No sheep. Those the S coins. I have never touched them. I don't, and it's it's like, if you can make a quick buck on them, awesome. Take your profits and run. But like I said, in my case, I'm messing with other people's money, and I don't touch it unless it's basically, in my mind, as much of a guarantee as I can give them, and that's really what I focused my portfolio on. Is like, there's, if you go buy Doge, you might make $1 million, but I could in a month. But if you buy this one, I can guarantee you're going to make $1 million in 10 years. So that's it. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
No,
well, I mean, we were in the green room tonight before we came on, and we were just bantering back some stuff. But all of that is for another show, because this is David's spotlight tonight on ARKPLATE Vault. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. I valued this enough. I recommend this to everyone that views this video. And to let you know, there is no affiliate link associated with this. this is all David, and as it should be, because he is just 9 days off the mark and away from the dock on this, and he deserves everything that he is entitled to with this, because you can see from this explanation that he's given to us tonight and his rationale and his passion for this, that this is something that is valuable. And I love that picture frame. It makes so much sense. Make it out of metal, so it
So people
has
will think-
if you saw it sitting on the table right there, would you even think twice?
No, and if they
No.
picked it up, they would see it's metal, so they would
No.
go, of course it's heavy.
No,
It's metal.
but I am going to check people's metal frames now when I go.
Oh my
Yeah, I was
gosh,
gonna say,
you
that's
are
the only
not
thing.
totally doing that.
Especially with grandma.
Oh, anyways, no, this has been wonderful. Thank you once again. And we'll look forward to having you on Crypto Night in Canada soon.
Definitely.
Take care,
Thank you very much
everybody.
for having me on. I really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you for tuning in, and hope to see you guys another night here. Thank you.
Sounds perfect. All right. Thanks for coming.
Have a good night.
You too.